how's the Zine Fair been so far?
It's been epic. I've been volunteering here since noon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What does volunteering entail for you?
Sitting out here, smiling, saying hi to people,
Waving.
feel welcome. Yeah.
What are some of the cool zines you've seen inside?
Well, all of them are cool.
Yeah.
But there is this one table. It's called Joy. It's like the Joy Zine. There's 2 editions, and it has really cool stories in it. That's what I'm reading right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you just been going for zines on the front door or on the front steps, basically?
Basically.
That's dope.
Looking at the trees.
Well, as a transsexual man, I have been obsessed with cowboys for many years, so some could say I've been researching this since I was like a teenager. But since like I came up with the conception, I probably spent around like 10 hours just researching this, just because I wanted to make sure all of the information was being accurately presented. Also, a lot of the information is just hard to find. And then making the collage and all of this, it's 8 pages. I would say each page probably took me 2 hours, not to count the like 5 hours I spent trying to repair my typewriter because the ribbon did snap.
So, I'm seeing in the zine, it is primarily about the Wild West, about cowboys, about transness. What was it like for these people?
What was it like for these people? Well, like not every, but like a lot of other people that were, going west, these were just people that were trying to seek freedom from the traditional, like, American societal standards. And so a lot of these people like flew under the radar, like being trans. Most of these people, no one knew they were trans, like while they were living. They just got to live as who they wanted to live like. And it's sad because most of the reason we don't know about a lot of these people is because once they died, like people realized that they were trans, and then a lot of their history ended up being erased.
I'm sorry? Wonderful. And then you have another piece here. It is a flower coming out of a vial. The vial reads testosterone cypionate. What was the inspiration of this? What is the flower? Does that have any meaning?
So this piece originally was for transgender. It was going to be, the original piece was going to be auctioned off, and so the flower is called a jack in the pulpit. They're wildflowers native to wet woodlands, but they're unique in the fact that they can change sex from year to year. They often, when they're younger, they have male flowers. As they grow older, they have female ones, and then if the conditions are not ideal for growing, they become stressed. The following year, they can change their sex to better meet those conditions. And so what better flower to be sprouting from a bottle of testosterone?
I love that. So, is there any tables here that you were specifically excited to check out besides your own works? Let us know if you have any. Or have you not?
I am deeply excited to see all the tables here, but I have not had a chance to go and see them. But I'm just excited to see everybody because I was looking on like the lineup for everybody and just saw how many awesome and talented people were here today. As someone who's like, this is their first time doing this, it's very exciting to see people who like really know what they're doing, I suppose. So.
What do you feel is the most appealing element of the Iowa City Zine Festival Ice Cream Social?
I think there's an element of community building that is very powerful. I think I'm seeing a lot of people coming together in a way that I think is very beautiful and kind of goes beyond the whole like art market aspect of it.
Yeah, that is really interesting. I really appreciate the celebration of Iowa's eccentricity. I mean, especially being located in a Midwestern state. I think like the stereotype about us is that we're a monolith and we kind of reject all kinds of people that don't fit that binary. And so it's really fun to come to a place where you know that is celebrated, and you also get to support people that usually don't get a lot of mainstream support.
Don't they do the thing at some of the concerts where they're like, oh, Iowa City, World City.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. Yeah.
World City.
Yeah.
Iowa City, World City. Amen. Yeah.
Amen.
So, how did your set go?
I'm really happy with it. Last Emma Denney set ever, right? Because I'm like getting rid of that name for me reasons.
Yeah.
And so it was good, right? I feel like the vocal bit went maybe the best it ever has. I think it sounded really big in there. We got the floor shaking a lot. I'm looking over at Hales because they were there.
Yeah.
And threw in a bit with that Ian Mallory voicemail at the end, which was real good. I'm happy that wasn't dumb, right? Like, because I'm just like, this could be so stupid and self-indulgent if it doesn't work. And it did. So I'm happy with it.
It didn't come off as a like cliche or whatever.
No, because I've never explained to you how my live setup works, but I have this like weird glitch mangler effect that has a sensitivity, so I just sort of like glitch it out, add noise, add feedback, just like fucking around, making it sound goofy and everything, but in like a productive way. I think it was good.
You have like a theremin type thing too, right?
Yes, I have a Eurorack synthesizer, and then I have a little 2-channel light sensor, like theremin-ish, but it's not actually.
Yeah, I saw that at the debut show, and I was like, oh, I never realized, or I don't think I saw it before. I'm like, I didn't know they could make like something like that so small.
Yeah, well, because it's just control voltage and photo cells, right? Like it doesn't need to be small, or it doesn't need to be large. I think the cells are digital too. Like I think it's just a little chip in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone shows up like 5 or 10 minutes in, so you start and you're just like, there's no one here. And then at the end you look up and you're like, oh, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Which is good. That's always fun, right? Like, because you get to feel like, oh, you get to tell yourself people heard it came upstairs or something, right? Which is, it's a festival, it's not how it works, but, you know, your ego needs some help sometimes.
Yeah. How's your Mission Creek experience been so far?
Fairly limited because we've been really busy this weekend. Yeah, we're gonna try to go see Osees here. But then we got Young Rascal. I sing her sets all the time. So I finally actually got to one of her sets, and then I never miss boot camp.
Yeah.
So,
How's Young Rascal in boot camp?
Boot camp's always amazing, right? It's always such a good energy, right? Everyone in town loves going to those shows, so it's just like everyone is stoked and wants everyone else to have the time they want to have, right? Even if it's in like 4:30 in the afternoon in a vegan restaurant.
Yeah.
They filled it up. Yeah, they did. They got the capacity. It was rad. Loved leading off with the new single. The song's great anyway, and I'm glad that's finally out. And then Harry has this amazing energy that she brings to herself, Young Rascal.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think I said to her, like, in a good way, you can tell how much that set takes out of her, right? Like, you can tell she's leaving it all out, right? That it's like, yeah, I might be like hoarse and exhausted at the end of this, but I'm gonna do a good fucking show, right? And that's incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
That's the best thing, right? Like I often don't even care how things sound. It's just like I need that feeling, right? I need to feel all of the energy in that. I need to feel connected to that. I think she does that really well.
True.
It also does sound great. Like, I'm not saying that, right? Like her voice and her flow on top of this track is really good. I think it like adds an interesting character to it. I think, right? It's fairly, I'm not going to say standard, but it's like if someone says this is a hip hop artist, she sounds how I expect her beats to sound, and then she does that vocal on it, like getting really gritty, getting gnarly in there. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like true human emotion, you know,
Exactly.
infused into it. And that's that's like the most valuable thing in any sort of art.
Yeah.
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 Anything else you want to say, or?
Crystal, who runs sound at Gabe's, is awesome. I love her. She's great. Everyone should be even nicer to her than they already are.
Mission Creek, I'm Evan with KRUI. I'm with 24 Thank You here. Just finished their performance here at the Riverside Theater. You all want to go around and introduce yourselves?
I'm Emma, and I do stuff.
I'm Ethan. I play guitar and sing.
You want to pass it over to Scott?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
I'm Scott, and I play guitar.
I'm Michael, and I play bass.
Ooh, whoa, dude, ASMR, dude.
All right. Now, the first thing I want to ask is obviously you have a cast of immaculate musicians here, 5 of you, in fact, and I think that very much translates to your sound. It's a very full, creative sound, and just so colorful. It's amazing to see live, and you have a very interesting hybrid of both digital and acoustic sounds happening at once. And with 5 of you in the band, I would imagine that your influences are pretty broad. So what can you say about your influences as far as, you know, who kind of makes music that makes you want to make music? Each of you individually, if you don't mind, as well as you as a band, if there is crossover there.
I think that there are a lot of musicians that like feed into it, and like it kind of like individually like we'll get inspired that we bring that, like we'll share that musician like with the band generally, and then it's like kind of like a band. Like if the whole band is enjoying it, then it'll be like that's what we're going for. So like for the album creation, like it was like for me, I mean I was like really inspired by I love like Ethel Cain and like that whole situation, and I also really that whole situation. No, just like the lore that she brought to like her album, like with like Preacher's Daughter and stuff. And I don't know, I was put onto Dijon by Ethan, and so that became a huge influence. And also just like old like folk music, like John Denver situation. I don't know. That's where I'm at, I guess.
Yeah, there's individual influences, and then there's the influences that like connect each individual member, or you know, it's like me and Mike, we like McGee and kind of and like Frank Ocean and have like similar tastes there. Totally. Me and Scott like a lot of the same guitar players. Like tonight he was hitting some Gary Clark Jr.-esque soloing, and then like I mean we have a lot. But the one that I always comes to mind is the microphones.
The microphones,
yes.
yeah. I put bro
You put me on so hard.
The pole.
Oh, and Beast House. House.
But like we listened to like the pull by the microphones, and then that's what inspired like Cold Car, which was cool. Just like a while ago, but like the production of it, I guess.
I love their just like absolutely just destroyed like tape reel sound, you know, like just like clipping everything's getting destroyed. I love that sound so much, and like I definitely use that in like the interlude on the album, and on some other stuff and, like, currently unseen, but
was, like, Gex.
Yeah,
like 100 Gex was like the Gex phase, and like
I wondered that totally translates to your live
100 Gex.
That's awesome.
Quantic, when like you got into Quantic, like that was what like I Wash It Out was like really, like we were like it was just like the phases of like what we listen to as one person will find something and then share it, and then everybody's like, this is fire, and then one person will make something that's like inspired by that, and then everybody goes ham on it. It's really fun. Yeah. No, go share with the squad.
Yeah.
Share with the squad.
I definitely like at least one song from everything that's mentioned, except I don't know Ethel can. I'd say I'm a music enjoyer, pretty generally. I think we all pretty much are general music enjoyers. But I really like top 40 pop a lot. I really like to go down the like chart and be like, wow, this is so like polished and like, I just love really good simple pop songs. I think I'm way different than everyone else here in terms of that, but that's.
He loves top 40, so he's like, oh, lit.
Yeah, that's like probably my defining musical feature.
I mean, basically everyone said it, like McGee, Frank Ocean. Like I think Bon Iver also had an influence at the beginning a lot, and that was you could hear that if you looked for it. Like me personally, I'm really into house music, and Emma relates to me on that front. But that doesn't translate into our music as much. But if you want to know about me, yeah. But pardon? It's in okay.
It's honestly it's in the works.
It's on the schedule now. Yeah.
I'm making an EP that I want to put in the 24 Thank You universe that is like Forza, like what I would put like behind like Forza, you know what I mean? Like yeah. Like if I was like racing in Forza, like what I would want to hear behind that, and I'll like make something, and then like my partner like Jack and I'll just like watch like Forza like gameplay like on YouTube on mute, and then like listen to like my tracks on there, and then just be like does it work? And if it does, it goes on the EP. But
that's sick.
We'll see if that exists in the 24 Thank You universe, so I don't know where to put that.
No, absolutely. I mean, it sounds like you've almost got like a little artistic community in it of itself, with all of you coming through with these different areas of interest as well as all the crossover. It sounds really amazing. And you started to talk about your album that came out this past year, Everything Burning Slowly. Love for that. Check it out if you haven't. Do you want to tell me a little bit about how that came together? How you decided that it would be an album, how you decided all the tracks would end up on there, what the process was. Did you write the songs and then make the songs, or was it more production than songwriting?
Not to be corny, but every song was different in terms of like how it came together. Because like some songs, like Nod for example, that's something where like I write it on like an acoustic guitar, and then when I go over to production, it's like completely kind of reimagining the song, you know. But and then like Noise is something where I had a baritone guitar part, sent that to Nick. He has drums, and then I gave it to everybody else. Everybody added their shit, and then we added vocals on top, and like, so sometimes we go instrumental up.
Like 75 tracks on that?
There was so many tracks on there. I guess for us, we'll probably get flexed on by like some like fucking orchestrator portion.
That was like crazy though, just being like there's 75 individual like pieces going into this song.
Totally.
But the album came to be just by us like. Okay, so the album came to be just by us, like, we had music already, like some songs. We were gonna do like a love EP, which is really funny to think about. And then we like went through some shit like last winter, just like had a hard time as like just a group of friends, and like experienced a lot. And Ethan showed me like the beginnings of the song Everything I Was Burning Slow, and then I like misheard his lyrics, and then I like thought it was about like a burning body, like I don't know, like somebody like witnessing their own cremation, and then that I was inspired by that. Wrote kind of like a guideline for like the album that night. Like I went home and just like stayed up till 4 and like wrote a concept for the album, and then from there it was just like so fun. Like everybody kind of just like from there I was like, okay, this is a potential like vision, and everybody was like, okay, yeah, we're in it. And it was so cool to see everyone just like from there, everyone like got so involved, and it was so fun. It was just hanging out at like their old house they lived in last year, and just like the porch hangs, and like there were nights where like Ethan and I would just like sit out and listen to the album like in full. That one night was just like my favorite night. We stayed up listening to it and being like, this fits. This is like exactly what it needs to be. So the formation of the album was just like us as friends like figuring shit out, and like.
So we all lived together at that time too.
Yeah.
So it was super like not Emma, but Emma come over and then
I lived like a block or 2 blocks away. Like I lived like I would walk to your house, and it was like easy enough to do that. And so it just like felt like we could just be together all the time.
Totally.
It was so fun. and like.
Yeah, I'd never had a vision before. So when
Yeah.
you had a vision, I was like, dope. We have a vision.
Yeah.
Also, I want to answer some questions for Nick. So Nick's favorite music, I think Nick pretty much listens to Mac DeMarco, Michael Jackson, and the Doobie Brothers.
The Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
One time, I was talking to Nick, and like, man, every time I hear a good song by somebody else, I want to fucking kill myself. Like, it's so good. And then I was like, does that ever happen to you, Nick? He's like, honestly, only with 70s country, like 90s, 80s, 90s country.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. So
I think
he's
he
just
really appreciates the songwriting.
Mhm.
Like a lot.
Yeah, he loves some bands, and he, more than anybody else, hates some bands. Like, really hates bands, and
You'll
will be
try
like,
and show him some shit, and he'll just be like, "Nah, fuck that, fuck that." And he's not gentle about it, which I really appreciate. But it's also like, damn.
yeah, he loves that, and he loves a sports bet right now.
Yeah.
Which is not good.
So that's for
we're
Nick.
trying to get him out.
We're trying to get him out of that.
Bro,
So I hope he
like,
sees
remember
this.
He like propped his
He was
propped
betting
his
on games
phone
in the
up
green
to
room.
watch like whatever game like on my water bottle. I was like, I'm trying to sip out of that, bro, and he's like, not even this game.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
5 minutes like just showtime, and I'm like, whoa, can you drink water? Because bro's gonna watch these.
Yeah, one of his parlays busted out, but he's still got one going.
I hope that parlay hit.
I don't know. Okay.
Well, I wanted to ask because, I've seen you all a couple times live, and I feel like every time, especially this time, you just keep getting tighter and tighter with your performances. You played some new material. So I wanted to ask, the album's come out now. Where are you at creatively? I heard whispers of a record in the works. I heard, what's next for 24 Thank You?
Take that.
Big question. Mike, you answer that.
I'm writing. I'm pretty much just writing software right now.
Bro, this is not my question to answer, but there have been a lot of songs being recorded. Ethan and Emma are especially working really hard, pumping out a lot of tracks, and we're kind of at the stage where we're like weeding through the ones that we want to polish and see what fits together the most for something that could become a cohesive album. We're not clear yet on what the release strategy on that is, if we want to do singles or an album or an EP, like multiple EP. It's up in the air. But we do have a lot of music in the bank. And you heard some of it tonight too, so.
We have like 3 albums worth of like demos.
Yeah.
Like we could probably like release like 3 albums with what we have right now, but it's just like we always want projects that are released to feel like they're put together in a way that feels like all of us.
Yeah.
You know, like this like representation of us, and like if it doesn't feel like it's this like cohesive representation, then it's not getting released. And I guess we're kind of like figuring out how to deal with that too. How to like just release things for the sake of releasing it, but there'll be music in the future. It's just like we have so much, but it's just like
We're having like culling, a lot of like, or like thinning. That's how you do with plants, or something like you thin a plant. But we're doing a lot of that right now. Like we just
Weeding.
from the moment we released our first album, it's like we've been making so much music from there until the end.
Yeah.
That's honestly all I really do or think about.
Yeah.
And then I'm happy to hear that we've been getting tighter.
Oh, for sure.
Because like we never play live usually because we're like hermit crabs working we like working on our little computers.
I can speak for the community and saying you should play more live.
I know. But yeah, there's a lot of music in the works. Always.
yeah.
That's great to hear. Really exciting. I wanted to ask about, as far as like, do you see yourselves have any labels come knocking? If you were offered major label support, would that be something that you pursue? What are your feelings as far as that goes, as far as like future steps? Maybe that's a little forward, but.
I love these questions.
We've like talked to some labels, just like had some meetings and things. It's something that we have to, I think, sift through. Like we don't have like we don't do TikTok and we don't do the like thing, we like make music, and so I think that's a little like it's not as appealing to like take someone on if they don't do that. So
Pretty small.
we are pretty small, and like and so like I think if there's like an offer that gave us like creative liberties and whatever, but that's not like, I think that's not like on our mind right now. Like it's like something that's like, that would be cool. Like that would be cool in the future. But like right now, I think the goal and like the focus is just like making music with our friends and making stuff that's like authentic and genuine and like feels like us. And yeah, that'd be cool to have like labels. Like that's always like that's like the thing, you know? Yeah. But I think that we're comfortable not having that for a while.
I'd be interested to see how things would change if we did get a label, because like recently I got a full-time job, and it's kind of a release to be like, I can make whatever the fuck I want, and I can do whatever I want, and we can release whatever we want, and I don't have to make like videos or anything. Like I can literally just do the exact thing I want. Yes. And so for me, I mean, it's like a negotiation between all of us, but like something that I'm constantly thinking about is like, if we're gonna do it, I want to do it the way that we actually want to and enjoy to do, and that might not include a label sometimes, you know, because like if a label's like, you guys need to put this amount of content out, and like this is how you release your album, and you guys have to do a lot of shit that you don't enjoy, then I'm like, why am I just doing this? Like, why am I just making music for like a job? Yeah. I don't know. It kind of takes a lot of like the freedom and expressive out of it.
The pipes.
Get some fucking like ambience.
Yeah, this is the
This
next
is
album.
our next album.
That's every time they flush the toilet. Shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say, like, I think we can do it without the money, because I mean, they just gave us money and like, I guess, connections, but I think that we can make music that people care about without the money, and that's really important.
I think the label wouldn't really be about making the music, it'd be more about like promoting the music.
Yeah.
But it has to be in the
I think we can do it without the money.
Bro, after also after those like any conversations I've had, like now like my like live show like views. Sorry, I just hit my baby, so don't include that. Don't include that shit. Cut that shit. But I like it's like tainted my like view of like when I go to shows now. Like people that like have labels, I'm just like, oh, their label did that. Like they want them to do that. Like. And it just like takes it out, like the fun out of it sometimes. Like it's cool. Like I'm just like shitting on it, and it's like we're never gonna get a fucking deal.
The labels are listening to like, prime. We want them.
But no, but I just like don't like, I don't know. It's just like I don't want anything to like influence us but us, you know?
Totally. And it's been cool to talk to labels, but like, I mean, it's just cool. They just kind of say hi. We've learned is like, with the first time that we got a call from a label, we were like, it's contract time. We need like, when's the contract coming? But they just come and say hi and make sure we're not like crazy or like.
Well, they just want to like touch base so that like if we like do pop off, they can be like, hey, so remember us? Yeah. You know?
Totally.
Like that's the whole thing.
So. Yeah. We've gotten our heart broken by a label before. We should come out and say that.
No, I don't.
Hi, I'm Casper at KRUI. This is, what's your name?
Kian.
Hell yeah. Why are you here? What's your deal?
Osees.
What about the Osees?
I mean, I love, they're my favorite band. I try to see them as much as I can. The fact that they're coming to Iowa was sick. Honestly, my favorite thing in the world is being right in between the two drummers' bass drums at a live show. It's just crazy. It's a good time.
How long have you been fans? Were you there when they introduced the second drummer? That shit was crazy.
I wasn't there then, but I was about 2 or 3 years after that. This is when I started listening to them, around Orc.
Yeah. Do you have like preference of like old school weird freak folk and like new like full-on psych band like Osees?
Yeah, I prefer the full-on psych band. Like this incarnation is by far my favorite. I would have loved to heard the floating coffin era. I'm sad that I missed Bridget. But other than that, this is by far my favorite lineup. I love the double drummers. Tim's one of my favorite bassists. And yeah, this is my favorite.
What's your opinion on Rainbow? That's my favorite OC song, and also it's the gay one.
Yeah, it's super good. That's off of, what is that? It's the bat with the rainbow over it, right? Yeah. I really like that era too. I do prefer now, but I basically will listen to anything from like, what is that, 2012, 2011. I really like that stuff. The freak folk stuff I'll put on every once in a while, but I gotta really be into that that mood. I like the upbeat, high pace stuff.
What's your do you have like any tie to San Francisco? Because I feel like that like defined the OC's music a little bit.
Not at all. I just found them one day, started listening, fell in love, and yeah, the most I have is I want to make it out to San Fran one of these years and go to all 4 Chapel shows when they play.
You should go to San Francisco. Yeah, cool place. Love it.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, have a good one. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
How long have you been an Osees fan for?
Honestly, since probably 2012. I was introduced to them while I was working at a salmon cannery in Alaska, and it was in their weird psyche folk phase. And then, I was reintroduced later as they got more psychedelic, and fell in love with it. So.
How'd you get into a salmon cannery in Alaska?
It was a summer job, and it was pretty sick. There was a lot of fish.
Would you say Osees fit the vibe of being a summer Alaska type?
I think they have a certain Wild West sound for sure. It's something that comes from big mountains and all sorts of crazy stuff.
How many have you seen them before this?
Yeah, this will be my 6th time seeing them, I believe. So, yeah.
Do you think they're better live than recorded?
Absolutely, yeah. They're one of those bands that definitely translates in a live sense the best. Yeah, I'm really excited. We got both drum sets set up, so it's gonna be good.
How's your Mission Creek experience been in general?
It's been great. I think it's such a cool thing to have at Iowa City and the Engler Theater, and just bringing the community together with awesome music, local and international.
Anything else?
Signing off, let's go.
Hello, this is KRUI, and we're here with Pelada.
Tobias and Peace. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time and taking this interview. We're really appreciative of it. And we just want to ask first, now that things are coming to an end, what are the first thoughts and feelings that are coming into your head into what's coming next in life and different steps are you all gonna take?
for after the project or during?
Yeah, well, during and after the project. Now, within this year, since Pelada asked you guys, now it's finalizing.
So we're just looking forward to playing these last shows this year, and we're the album's gonna come out in vinyl, so we're in the works of doing that. We just got the artwork finalized, and that's the next process in terms of like what's coming out of us. But the album came out in September. It's just we didn't have the artwork in time for it, so that should be out this year. And then yeah, what's coming after Pelada is no one's business yet.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
no, totally. Well, as a Latina myself, I feel very attracted towards your guys' music just because of it touches a really special place in my heart, being away from home for so many years now. And also it touches many relevant themes that are not only a problem to many of us living in this world, but also in this community. There has been they're stripping away trans rights little by little in this community. So your guys' work has been really influential, at least in my mind, to those kind of giving inspiration to work towards a better place to live in. And I was wondering like how, and I guess you already said nobody's business, but if those themes will be ever touched back again in alternative music, in terms of lyrics, because that's often not touched in lyrics in alternative music. So do you see those themes being taught again in the future?
I mean, I don't write about those things only for the project. Those are things I believe in. So
yeah,
that's just what came naturally to write about. But yeah, I don't know. I'm exploring different things to like write about. Still politically charged, but I realize that I don't really write a lot of like personal content that I think I want to explore more of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's see. In terms of influences, one of the things that at least I've heard in the past couple of records is that, of course, very heavy on electronic music, house and techno, and electro as well. And there have been a couple tracks that does touch into leaning into that dembow rhythm, and how that came to be. If that was mostly, I know electronic music, the production part is mostly your forte. Were some of those tracks also touched by Chris on those regards, or were also back and forth in terms of coming along?
I think as a producer, I make beats for artists, and it's something that Chris wanted to explore, and I was happy to try to incorporate some of that influence in some of the music that we were making. I think it's not a huge part of what we do, but there is a little, we do touch on some of the those production techniques, like sometimes in composition techniques, like the Trisilla rhythms, like the dembow rhythm, like you said, which I think is like, it's an interesting, it's interesting to mix influences with electronic music, to take two old things to create one new thing, and maybe hint at some ideas that other artists can come along in the future and finish or explore more. And just I think some of what we did in this project was break new ground with just mixing different styles together, and that could be a blueprint for other people to continue the work on with in the future.
Yeah. Also, Iowa City, I feel has a really good hardcore and punk scene, and I know Montreal does as well. I think that's something that, you both have come along, at least in the beginnings of what Pelada came to be. And what made you attracted to that specific kind of music and crowd whenever you began just introducing yourself into the nightlife in Montreal?
I'm sorry, could you clarify the question?
Yeah, so as I'm aware, the punk scene in Montreal was a very influential thing for you guys' music. What made you attracted to the scene in general and that specific type of nightlife?
I'm actually not from Montreal originally. My father's from there. He was in a garage rock band in the 60s in Montreal. I grew up in the punk scene. I started touring Canada and the United States when I was 17, and I've pretty much been on tour every year since. So growing up in the punk community, I just don't really know anything else. Like it taught me a lot of lessons about community and doing things yourself, putting out your own records. The first time I put out a record, like a vinyl record, I was 17 in high school, and it's not dissimilar to what Chris and I are doing, putting out our record currently. So not too much has changed. I think maybe just like you don't make some of the same mistakes 20 years later, still doing it, but
it's like the ideas of it are still applied in what we do. Of course, the sound is completely different, but I feel like at some point a lot of punks just went into electronic music because it has the same kind of intensity, or it comes from similar places of like underground culture and like where everyone is welcome and like all that kind of stuff that is important that lacks in like mainstream culture. But it's not that different, I would say, in terms of like what both communities strive for in terms of like how to make music or how to present music or who makes music or whatever. Like the whole concept of community is like really strong in both spaces.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna grab a glass of water.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's see. How's the tour going for you?
It's bittersweet because
Of course, yeah, definitely. I understand that.
You know, I mean, touring is not always fun because the schedule can be very chaotic sometimes, and there's not a lot of sleep, or there isn't always time for food or whatever, but the performance part of it is what's really fun about it. And while this is our last year, we're revisiting a lot of the same cities that we've been to. We are also visiting new cities. So it's kind of like we're still doing that thing where you play in a new city, no one knows you, and then maybe there's people that follow you after that. So that continues to be the process, unintentionally, I guess, just because like it is the last year. We are trying to like play more shows and make some money out of it, and then it's over. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's a bit surreal to think that it's been going on for 10 years also. That's another thing that I'm not struggling with, but just kind of is weighing on me a bit more in the last few days. But
part of realization.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's hard to see what it is while you're in it.
Yeah.
And I think it might be just like a slow release situation where I'll think about it some more next year or something. I don't know.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite things is like electronic music. I really like it, and I often see a lot of like really good stuff outside of what is Iowa City, and I guess I always try to think like, oh yeah, what makes a good event, or what makes a good venue a good venue. So in your perspective and what you've lived in the past 10 years with Pelada, what has been like different tidbits or favorite type of ethos of a venue that makes you really like it?
Usually the sound system, although we've played a lot of different types of venues. Like we've played like an anarchist compound in Leipzig that was like just like rusted out trailer
2016
parks, like completely off the grid. We've also played like techno super clubs like Berghain and stuff, which we love obviously because you know, we love a big system, a banging sound system. But and then you know. Venues like the one we're in right now, and everything in between. So I think what's helped us is just because we are from the punk world and also from the electronic music world, we can kind of bend and to fit any situation and sort of lean into one side of the project if we have to. So that versatility, I think, has been a strength for us. In terms of what makes a good venue, it's everything. It's the staff, it's the graphic designer, it's the sound system, it's the lighting person, it's the location, it's like the chill area, it's the green room, it's the it's everything. It all comes together, and people just need space. I think with gentrification and what we've noticed, like when we came up in Montreal in the rave scene, it was a very special time where there was a lot of empty buildings and a lot of art spaces in Montreal. There's been a huge increase in the police budget in Montreal every year by millions and millions of dollars, and they're just cracking down on every DIY space and trying to kind of crush that out and turn all of those spaces into condos and development properties and things like that. So I think the most important ingredient for things to happen is raw space, and if you have that, that's the number one ingredient, and everything else is just kind of icing on the cake. So I think if you do have that space, you just need to develop the skill of like making the most of it and appreciating it. And those are the type of things that you learn growing up in the punk scene, obviously, so you can carry that with you the rest of your life.
Looking things to retrospective, in terms, as you were saying, that looking back now has been 10 years and makes you think like, yeah, it has been 10 years in this whole thing, and you haven't been aware of how much time has happened. Do you have any favorite things that you think you're going to miss? Of course, you're gonna keep like doing stuff, but like as a group,
it's been a dream come true. I think most bands last about 5 years, so to last 10 is like totally the bonus round. It's changed our lives completely.
Right.
We've seen the entire world. We've toured Asia. We're going to Colombia next month. We were just in Costa Rica. We've been to Mexico. All of these places, Italy, like. Everywhere, so many times that like it's really opened up the whole world to us and changed, I think, who we are as people. It's expanded our horizons. So I think it's just being grateful for that is really cool. And then the people who we've maybe touched or moved or inspired or whatever, like that's really cool too. Yeah, I mean, we only have a limited amount of time on the planet, so it's just kind of like, just make it count, and that's what we try to do, and that's what we're trying to do, so.
Let's see. On a superficial note, I love it when festivals or promoters get accommodation and nice hotels. That's always fun. And on a more personal note, what I really enjoy from traveling so much is some of the bands or some of the acts that we play with. It's not always the case, but when you connect with some of them, it's like a new friendship that develops, and you speak the same language because you understand what the world of music, touring, underground is all about. And so that to me has been a space where I can share sort of like the complexities of doing this and like sharing knowledge, which I think when we were first starting was lacking a great deal. Like people were very gatekeepy about how to even make a tech writer, how to even like reach out to people and stuff like that. And I feel like nowadays I'm really happy to share all the information that I have, and I'm really happy to receive tips from people that have been doing it for longer. So that specific space is something that I really cherish a lot, just because whether we're playing the same genre of music or not, it's that sense of community amongst artists that I really am gonna miss for a while, because I'm not planning on touring after this year for a while, just because I kind of feel like I don't really know what I'm about at this point anymore, and I kind of just want to like recollect myself and like regain perspective of like who I am as a person and not who I am as like a band member of Pelada. And I feel like there's some expectation out of Pelada now that it's been built into this thing. But it's great to be able to like see a lot of different places and connect with a lot of different audiences, especially the audiences that understand what the lyrics are about, and like that is a bigger connection than when it's just like a audience that like maybe just respond to the music and like for whatever reasons you like it. My preference is when the audience speaks Spanish. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I guess one last question, and then just to close up. What are like the favorite type of music that you've been listening to lately, and sort of like what makes you attracted to that kind of stuff right now?
Like what we're listening to? Lately?
Yeah. It's okay if you don't want to say anything, or you want to gatekeep it, or just like
no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one interesting aspect of this project that's kind of developed in the last year or two is like we've been doing a lot of B2B DJ sets as like part of like the business side of Pelada. We're just like exploring that. So we've actually been like just getting really into DJing again, and that's been really fun. So we're constantly trying to find new tracks, and we're constantly trying to like not bore each other with the tracks that we play every time we DJ, and you know, digging and things like that. In terms of like specific names, like I'm kind of blanking. Like there's definitely like comps and stuff that I've been like rinsing, like, but it's like just listen to our like NTS set, or just like I don't know, if you want to hear us present music. You can find that. You can Google it and you can find it, and there'll be tons of it. I think we got to ask. Like, I'm just a bit self-conscious because we don't do a lot of interviews, and I think last month we did 3 in a row. We were heading down to Mexico, and we did 3 in a row.
5 minutes, 5 minute long.
Or like they were like 15 minutes or maybe, but like just like boom, boom, boom. Rapid fire, and then I don't think they ended up publishing any of them, so I got really self-conscious about like, oh, maybe we're boring, and I could, you know, similar type of questions were asked, and I think we were just like, you know, if you want the good stuff, come see it presented in the like DJing is really like how we can present our ideas in terms of just like listing people's band camps. Like we could name drop our friends, which we do, I guess, but if you really want like what's really exciting us, I think the DJ set's a really good indication of like what we would actually play in the club, or like what we really want to share. So it's, you know, it's easier to just do it than talk about it sometimes.
Yeah, I was really like kind of like sad because we're trying to book you guys for another event tonight later for our rave, but it didn't materialize because we couldn't secure a location. Yeah, it would have been like a DJ night, a DJ set going all night.
We
so
have a couple hours.
Yeah, find it and we'll DJ.
Yeah.
The USB key.
We brought our USB keys.
Oh shit. Okay.
Find it, make it happen.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I think I don't have anything else besides I'm really touched by you guys' music. I really appreciate you guys, and I'm really looking forward for the show, and I'm hoping that everything that goes after Pelada and the rest of the tour goes extremely well for you.
Thank you so much for even reaching out and making the time. I know it took us a while to respond, but
it's all good. I think like persistence is always key, and I'm always happy to do it.
I agree. It's good. So thank you so much for this interview, and I hope it was good for you.
It was lovely, honestly. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much again. Really appreciate it.
We really want to. I want to just say that we noticed that Nirvana played here in 1989, and we were walking in today, and we saw this like black and white promo photo of Nirvana, like sitting across from our black and white promo photo, poster to poster, just like making eye contact like all day long. And I was thinking like, we really need to make tonight super special so that they keep that poster up for the next 35 years. So we really have to like do an extra good job tonight. So like that's part of the motivation, so that like it can be as legendary, if not more legendary.
Yeah. One thing I actually just want to point out about the project is that I feel like there's a studio album recording like material that we have, and then there's a live version. And the live version is what started everything. And I feel like that is what gets people excited about the project. Not that the recorded stuff isn't exciting, but the energy that you get from a live performance, I feel like, if I may say so, I wouldn't want to play after us, because we do give a lot of energy, and there is something about the whole Pelada atmosphere when it's happening that just gets you riled up. And so that's something I'm really proud of, because we worked really hard at it, and it's just something that came naturally to us also. So I hope that magic continues in this space also.
Well, thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.